250. April, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I have kind of two questions. One, how are you doing? You've been furloughed since October 1st. And two, what we have seen for years, really, when it comes to the Trump administration and Republicans kind of writ large, is the dehumanization of federal workers, right? They've called you guys the deep state since 2016 and before. And when I was asking myself yesterday when I was prepping for the show, I was like, where's the outrage, right? We're in the 25th day of this, and the American people don't seem concerned. And before, I feel like they would have been. What does that dehumanization do when you hear that from the federal government, the president himself?
Yeah, well, first question, how am I? I think this is probably the first time that I've sat with, like, how am I?
Yeah.
Listening to the guests before, I'm really sad.
Yeah.
Not only, not for myself first, but, like, especially for the families that we work with. I think about my neighborhood. I think about the elderly folks in my neighborhood, and I live in Southeast DC, so SNAP is huge.
Yeah.
And for me, yeah, no paycheck yesterday. That's real. That is real. But makes me sad. But I think there's so much internalized outrage that you don't always see it outside, right? Like, you can have a protest, which I am a huge proponent of, but then we go back home.
Yeah.
And there just has been. I mean, a lot of people are calling this like the shutdown now, but like we've been in a showdown for 9 months, right? Like we have been trying to, they have been trying to get rid of us for that long, right? So there's just this sense of like every day growing, just anger among federal workers. One, yes, because the general public, I don't think understands what we do, right? We're all workers. We work to live, right? Like we went and we interviewed and we got a job. Just like they did.
And you work for different administrations.
Absolutely. We all work in different places, but we're workers. We're part of the working class of the United States. And the dehumanization, it runs really deep. One, because people don't necessarily, like I said, know what we do. So we do get that. If I was a deep state, I wouldn't be getting furloughed, first of all. And if I was the deep state, I would probably, my friends wouldn't be getting furloughed. But what we are is just workers like everybody else. And it's not just DC, right? We're learning now about what's happening in rural America, right? And we're learning that like all of these things are connected. When people lose that, they don't eat. And it's not because they don't know how to work. It's not because they're living off the system. We live in a system that is already not affordable, right? And so I listen to them talk about how hard it is to ask for help. Yes. And it's because we're placed in this moment where somehow we are, as federal employees, different than everybody else, right? We get the rap, but we're not getting paid. We missed paychecks yesterday. Congress got paid yesterday, right? And I think it's important to be able to hold both of those things.
Ms. Gunkins, you're furloughed because of this shutdown.
Absolutely.
And I'm just wondering, Democrats blame Republicans. Mm-hmm. Republicans blame Democrats. Mm-hmm. From your vantage point and from your friends and coworkers' vantage points, who's at fault?
The billionaires. I think this is not actually about the budget because they've been cutting that. They've been targeting that. I think this is about how the government workforce only makes up 4% of the government's budget every year. So when we're looking at who's to blame, it's the same people that have always been to blame because, it doesn't actually matter who is in Congress. It's about what they do and don't do, right? There are attacks on federal workers, on our working protections at the same time that now for our livelihood. And so I'm stuck between being really angry at like the long-term time that it took for us to get here, for people to start thinking about it. But then I'm also like, somebody has to hold the line because what happens is when we go back, it still won't be the same. They have gutted our programs. They have, like you said, dehumanized employees. What are we going back to, right? It's broken. And so at some point, someone has to stop the bleeding. But I'm a firm believer that you can hold more than one truth at a time. Yeah, we need to get paid. And out here, I think people don't necessarily understand. We can't do GoFundMes. It is against the law. We can't go get another job. That is against the law. And so there's no unemployment. You got to pay that back. You can go get food stamps. You got to pay that back. Most people don't understand that it's not just a matter of not getting a paycheck. It's not being able to get a paycheck and then not being able to get the things that you need in the meantime.
Some Americans will lose access to SNAP food aid benefits on November 1st, cutting off their only means of affording staples like milk or vegetables.
Fear. Just fear, like I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids.
To last all the way for the next month, even to cover December, it won't. It will be starving.
What am I going to do? Is what I thought. And it's not really fair to a single mothers trying to feed our kids and trying to get by to get better.
Look beyond yourselves. Look beyond the fight. There's real Americans that are struggling out here.